Here's Brody Brazil.
Laser Ramon. All right. We have to start with this, unfortunately, with Ramon. When his suspension was handed down, there wasn't a lot of year left in 2021 on the schedule. He was going to miss any playoff games the A's had. Turns out they didn't. And we knew that he would miss a certain amount of this year to start off. It turns out that number is going to be the first 27 games. So basically, first month of the season is already off the books for Ramon Laureano. And we haven't heard much about what happened, how it happened. And I'm sure he's got a story to tell. And I don't know that we'll ever hear that story. But I do know that this is a man who wears it right here. This is a man who is always running a little bit hot, right? Which is why he's loved. Which is why I own the domain name laserramon.com. I'm a big Laureano fan. I really am. But I feel like right now, especially with the way things played out last year, the fact that when he was suspended, the A's were still rolling. Was that right after the trade deadline? I think it was. But he had to sit and witness kind of this team disintegrate last year. And now in the offseason, now it really changes. And he's still not playing games yet. Like, he can't make his statement on the field. All he wants to do is speak with his glove and his bat and his arm, especially his arm. But he can't do that yet. So I think the fire for him is burning as hot as it ever has. Now, he's got to control that, right? He's got to harness that. But I feel like this is a player who is going to come out of the gates burning. Sought after is the bottom thing here. I'll leave that for just a second. But first, top of the lineup, I put a question mark. Could he hit leadoff for you? Could he hit second for you? Probably. I think Laser Ramon is a guy where if he's struggling, maybe he is 7th or 8th. And maybe that's where he was in years prior. But I think optimally this year, you want him at the top of the order. Maybe you want him hitting second. But last thing here to discuss, and this is frustrating. It's a compliment. Laser Ramon is such a good baseball player with so many skills and so many years ahead. He could do so many things. Aren't other teams looking at him right now? And if the Oakland A's truly are in that mindset of getting value out of players they have that other teams would covet, hasn't Ramon Laureano shown you some things in the last handful of years? Again, suspension aside, I know that's frustrating, but it also does make me wonder that if I were a team interested in Ramon, why would I do that deal now? Because I can't even use him for 27 games. Maybe let him play 5-10 games with the Oakland A's, then I'll make the phone call so that I don't have to put him through spring training. Like, I can trade for him, instantly get him, instantly make my team better. Now, I hate talking about players like they are material objects. But I'm saying it as a compliment to Ramon Laureano. We know what his skills are. We know other teams see that. And we know the Oakland A's, based on their actions so far, are trying to cash in now for investments down the road. So I don't take any pleasure in suggesting that. But I'm also wondering, if you're Ramon right now going through spring training, what's going through your mind? What's it like if I'm thinking these things and I'm just a TV guy? What's he thinking? He's going about his everyday business and life. And trust me, he's motivated enough. He doesn't need all the rumors and trade whispers. But yeah, he's still human. So he's got to be thinking about that stuff. Ramon stole 12 bags last year, but remember what he did at the start? He stole 8 in his first 9 games of 2021. Can Ramon get back to the swipes a little bit more? How was that happening so often? And he was capable of it. And I mentioned before, I think Tony Kemp is also in that same category. Maybe the A's change up their style a little bit. You don't have the power necessarily. You don't have the big Olsen bat in there. Get Laureano on, turn a single into a double. Laser Ramon hit 278 at night during night games last year. He only hit 204 during the day. Now I'm pointing that out. That's just an odd one. Normally during the day, players can see the laces on the baseball a little bit better. They can see the seams, Night game's a little bit harder to pick up that ball off the pitcher's like fingertips and to get all the depth perception. You'll get it, Brazil. It's just more typical that hitters are better during the day, but here is somebody who's different. Ramon hits better at night. And I mentioned before, top of the order guy. Last year alone, he hit in every spot in the lineup except for 8th and 9th. Now, I would expect that would be the exact same thing this year, except probably I don't want him to hit 7th if he doesn't need to, or 6th. I mean, I don't think he's a middle of the order guy. I can't believe he hit cleanup last year at some point. But I would want Laureano probably in the 2-hole. So, again, I don't know what the full season brings for Laureano, but he's kind of in that same category right now with a Montas and a Minaya. Highly desirable. You know what you're going to get. I know the 27-game suspension might play a factor in why he's still around or why nothing has happened, but personally, I will always be a Ramon Laureano fan.